Welcome to my projectbazaar.com. Let me discuss about the project Hierarchical Cluster Based Routing in Wireless Sensor Networks. Let me discuss about the abstract of the process. Advances in wireless sensor network technology has providing the readiness of small and low-cost sensor nodes with aptitude of sensor various types of physical and environment surroundings. The GA-based optimization practice is performed to increase the results coming from improved heat protocol for various base station appointments. This is based on slanted election prospects of each node to become cluster head, conferring to the enduring energy in each node. The recreation result shows that modified heat yields extended stability section for higher values of extra energy taken by more powerful lumps. The heterogeneous aware protocol to prolong the network lifetime break before the death of first node, which is important for many tenders where the report from the sensor network must be unfailing. The sensors are self-ruling small devices with several limitations like the battery power, division capacity, communication range and memory. In this paper propose a new data furthering access to be improved by the lifetime of wireless sensor network using entities. WSN is fictional to be made up of a larger number of feelers and at least one base station. Heat reduces the statement energy by as much as it was related with the direct transmission and minimum transmission energy routing. The GA-based optimization practice is performed to increase the results coming from improved heat protocol for various base station appointments. Cluster heat variety is randomly done that take into account the extra energy factor among advanced and normal nodes of sensor node. It's a longer permanency region for higher ethics of extra energy. The network sum of the nodes converted cluster heads amazed the data of their cluster supporters and transmit it to the sink. This is a source of heterogeneity which may result from the opening setting or as the operation of the network grows. In this research project proposed an amend execution of heat protocol based on energy heterogeneity and elevate it through genetic algorithm. Initially, the immoral energy is 0 and enduring energy is an amount of initial energy in a node. Hence, total vitality amount is the endured energy. Let me discuss about the flow diagram for our process. In the network deployment, randomly deployed wireless sensors plays an important role in the quality of the methods used for data acquisition and signal reconstruction. Mathematically speaking, the estimation of the distribution of randomly deployed sensor can be related to computing the spectrum of van der Monde matrices with non-uniform entries. The randomness of the deployment of sensors may have several reasons. For example, a case of practical interest is when wireless sensors are raised from an airplane at fixed intervals but happen to land on Earth with a random position. For a given distribution of randomly deployed sensors, one would like to infer on the distribution of the sensor. The effectiveness of the DSN is determined to a large extent by the coverage provided by the sensor deployment. The positioning of sensors affected coverage, communication cost, the resource management. In this paper, we focus on sensor deployment strategies that maximize the coverage for a given number of sensors within a cluster in cluster-based DSNs. Next, genetic algorithm simulations are proposed. The genetic algorithms are family of computational models inspired by evaluation. These algorithms encode a potential solution to be a specific problem on a simple chromosome-like data structure and apply recombination operator to these structures so as to preserve critical information. Genetic algorithms are often viewed as function optimizer, although the range of the problems to which genetic algorithms have been applied are quite broad. Genetic algorithm deployed was instrument by started a survival of an organism can be maintained through the process of reproduction, crossover and mutation. Solution to the problem called objective function in natural fashion. A solution generated by genetic algorithm is called a chromosome. The collection of chromosomes is referred as a population. Chromosome is composed from genes and its value can be either numerical, binary, symbols or characters depending on the problem want to be solved. Next, in the cluster head selection using heat protocol. The heat protocol implemented based on the aim of the heat protocol is to network lifetime and sensing coverage. The protocol overcome the overlapping sensing coverage. Sensing holds some nodes present outside sensing coverage and some sensor nodes have coverage outside the cluster area. This protocol used for cluster formation and elect the cluster head. Cluster formation. Each cluster consists of number of sensors nodes and a cluster head that act as a router to the base station. Cluster head selection is primarily based on the residual energy of each node. The energy consumed per bit of a sensor's processing and communication is typically known, and hence residual energy can be estimated. Here is the clustering protocol. It uses using residual energy as primary parameter, and network topology features are only used as a secondary parameter to break the between candidate cluster heads as a metric for cluster selection to achieve load balancing. In this, all nodes are assumed to be homogeneous, that is, all sensor nodes are equipped with some initial energy. Let me discuss about the running procedure for our process. Select the main.m file in the current folder, right click that file and run for executing this process. This is the main window of the GA based heat protocol. Here we need to enter the number of nodes, and here we need to enter the coverage area height and also coverage area width. And by pressing the mobile deployment button, we deploy the sensor randomly. Here we need to enter the maximum rounds, that is maximum iteration, and this is the deployment of sensors. And by pressing the base station deployment, we place the deployment, that is base station, at the center of the coverage area. And by pressing the substation formation, we perform the cluster based algorithm. This is the cluster formation. This process will be repeated for maximum rounds. After that substation formation, we estimate the network lifetime for our process. And by pressing the analysis button, we perform the performance graph. This is the comparison performance of dissipation energy, which should be decreased. I plot the graph between iteration and also the dissipation energy. Now this is the comparison performance of remaining energy. It should be increased. I plot the graph between iteration and also the remaining energy. This is the comparison performance for alive nodes. Here I plot the graph versus simulation time and also alive nodes. Initially the alive nodes will be maximum, and after the running process it should be decreased. And this is the final comparison graph between proposed and existing system. Here I plot the graph for network lifetime. Network lifetime extended by using this method, deploying at optimal location based on GA based heat protocol. Thank you.